Welcome to the program, Adam Stern, Cara G, and Peter Mooney.
Thank you. Thanks for
Thank you.
having us.
Well, thanks for talking with us today. Of course, Levels, a sci-fi film, a lot of interesting questions. Uh, for people who don't know yet, Adam, what's the film all about?
Sure. So the film is a story, two people that have found each other and they've fallen in love, and then through a quite drastic set of circumstances, they're torn apart, and it begins sort of the exploration of trying to come back together within a world that may or may not be what everyone thought it was.
Yeah, it's you go in a lot of places here, that ask a lot of philosophical questions, when it comes to our own realities. And there are some people, unfortunately, some billionaires believe in the virtual reality of life, and but there are a lot of people who believe in it. I find it an interesting concept. It's an interesting twist on reincarnation and other religious aspects. What was it about this idea that drew you to the story?
For me.
Yeah, sorry, Adam.
Yeah,
Yes, for you.
yeah. No worries. Well, I think you hit on a lot of it right there. I think I've spent a lot of time, internally thinking about uh, multiple worlds and multiverses and simulation theory and all of this stuff, but also in the context of religion and mythology. And are we just using sets of different words to describe really the same thing maybe down the line? And it's just our sort of imperfect understanding of what our world is and what other worlds might be. So that really draws me. I mean, I think that really sparks my imagination. And then when you add to it what's sort of happening in the world today, and the idea that we may not be so far away from the ability to either crack some of these things or have the narcissistic tendencies to think we understand things that maybe we don't. I think it all gets very, very interesting at that point, and hopefully we'll come out of this on the other side. But I believe a lot of the stuff that at least drew me to this story are things that really scare me about the world we live in today.
Yeah, see, scaring, that's what I'm talking about here. This film touches a lot on my greatest fears. To wake up to find out everything is a lie, that I'm living in somebody's dream or simulation or something like that. It was a lot. Like, I was watching it going, yeah, I don't want any of this to happen. I hope these people are okay. And I know that's what you want for you, but even more on a higher level, I was like, oh dear God, this is scaring the crap out of me. So Peter, Cara, how did each of you prepare for these roles?
I think that's such a great question because it's also, something that scares the crap out of me, this idea. I'm not super worried right now about, a zombie coming into
Right.
the yard here, but I am worried about a little voice whispering, "You're not real. None of this matters." I am that sort of it's a terrifying idea. So to play someone like Joe, who's grounded in a life, in a reality, experiences love and suffering and hunger, and gets hungover, someone who has a full breadth of real experiences, trying to grapple with the reality that his sense of real doesn't actually contain the full reality, isn't a broad enough definition, that what he understands as real is not, was just such a fun thing to dive into playing, and a bit different for Kara because Ash knows more than Joe.
Yeah, I feel like I've been preparing my whole life for this kind of a role because I feel like my point of view, well, I'll say I am Ojibwe. My mom is Ojibwe. My dad is white. My mom calls the notion of time that we're living within this society, she calls it white people bullshit, which I think is so funny. And obviously like shapes that point of view, has shaped who I am. And I don't know, I'm just like on the slip and slide, like whatever it is, I'm having a very nice time. And I actually don't have those fears at all. Because if that is the case, I'm still having this just very nice time.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know, I am actually a little bit more afraid of zombies, to be totally honest.
Aren't we all?
Although,
Like,
actually, you know what's funny, guys? We're just gonna get real here for a minute. My mom
Yeah.
also talks about the zombie apocalypse, and she's always maintained that she would just prefer to immediately become a zombie. Like, she's like, that would be the nicest thing. So
She
I don't
prefers
know.
assimilation, really? Okay.
Like, just get it over. Like, let's just do that thing, and then now we're zombies, and it's fine. Everything's fine. So I don't know. I feel like, did I just grow up in a really fucked up household, guys? Is that
no. Honestly,
Mom,
Cara,
you can't watch this. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Okay, honestly, Cara, I can kind of see where she's coming from. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't want a zombie apocalypse, and I would fight like hell for sure. But I can kind of see the attraction to getting past all of the horror and everything that goes on. Much like the characters in this, it's like you guys are inundated with new information, specifically Joe, obviously, but and then but even Ash learned some things along the way too, like and we watching it, we learn a few things about this particular universe and the craziness that goes on. When you guys are creating this and putting it together, like when you read that script and then you're going into this, because it's like you guys already mentioned, it's very real, right? Like it's not the whiz bang of like a Matrix or some other big sci-fi movie. It's got the big ideas, but it's really small and personal, which I think really allows us as the viewer to jump into that. For you guys, I guess I'll start with you, Adam. Crafting it with is that like super important for you when it comes to this kind of sci-fi versus say those like I don't know, like ID4 or something crazy like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think you've hit the nail on the head. The relatability of it all was so important to me, and thus I think keeping it feeling as real as possible, as grounded, as small as possible, with the understanding that there are larger concepts and powers at play. Yeah, that's how I wanted to approach this story from the beginning. I wanted it to be about two people and their experiences within this broader, potentially existential conflict, and everything was sort of geared towards trying to keep it as relatable as possible in that way. Absolutely. And I love big spectacle as well. The intent with this was never to be about spectacle. There are moments where we're, sort of trying to show some fun visual stuff, but it was really about keeping it about this relationship.
Yeah, no, definitely. The other thing that when I was watching the film, it kind of had a Truman Show like feel to me
Yeah.
at some points. And I felt like, yeah, it's the human connection in it that, is the driving force through it and the question of what is human. So, Cara, do you think you could ever fall in love with an artificial intelligence?
Fall in love. I mean, I don't want to ever be on record as saying never. Who knows?
Yes, the robot overlords, please don't
Oh my
listen.
God,
Yeah.
honestly. The robot overlords, my future AI husband, like looks back at this and being like, you said that you would never love me. And I'm like, oh shit. Fuck. And that's the whole argument on my plate that I didn't want with my AI husband. I assume we would get married. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think so, but I can't imagine it, but like I mean people couldn't imagine the planet being round, so what the fuck do I know?
True. There we go.
Yeah, well, there's still some even today that are arguing that even that point, which
Those people don't count.
We don't talk to those people. There you go.
Yeah, no, I think we can all agree to that. Hopefully.
Well, there goes a big section of our audience.
Right?
Thanks, Claire.
Sorry, guys.
So Peter, like, obviously, coming into this, like you were mentioning about your preparation and everything like that for a character like Joe, who is this every guy and he's in this crazy circumstances, like, is that something that outside of the film you've ever thought about, like when you were like daydreams and stuff, like what kind of like those weird things that every person kind of goes through, that where they kind of think they're the Joe of their own story?
Yes, yeah, the main character energy. I love the ideas we're exploring in the script. When I first read it, I was just so excited about the things Adam was thinking about and playing with this and the thought experiments. What makes us real? How do we define real? If something can reason, is it real, but it can't suffer? If something can suffer but not reason, is it real? Like where do we draw that line is sort of a huge philosophical millefeuille that I love just trying to wrap my brain around and can't. It seems like for me, it's a sort of unanswerable question. And as an actor, the stuff that lives in the unknowns is just way more exciting than stuff that seems black and white. So that's what was so particularly attractive about this one.
Definitely. Well, I want to thank you guys, Adam, Cara, Peter, for talking with us today. Enjoyed Levels.
Yeah.
Well, I enjoyed Levels, but I needed to take a little bit of time for myself after I watched it to calm myself down.
I really enjoyed it the whole way
crisis.
through. I unlike Andrew, I wasn't terrified, but it's really great, guys.
There you go. Maybe if I watch it again, I'll be prepared for when our robot overlords take over. Thank you so much again, guys. Have yourselves a great day.
That's
Thanks,
awesome.
guys.
Thanks for having
Nice
us.
to talk with you.
Thank you.
Thanks.